Tommy McNeil. The U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee is voting on whether to confirm U.S. Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh a day after his accuser, Christine Blasey Ford, and Kavanaugh himself testified yesterday. Democrats on the committee today asked the chairman, Chuck Grassley, to subpoena a witness to the alleged event before voting on Kavanaugh. Grassley denied that, and now the senators at this very moment are providing statements as to why they support or oppose Kavanaugh as a Supreme Court justice. U.S. President Trump has postponed a meeting with Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, whom he reportedly wants to fire. Rosenstein oversees the investigation into Russia's interference in the 2016 presidential election. Tensions between the two have increased since the New York Times reported Rosenstein has suggested secretly recording the president to obtain evidence intended to demonstrate that Mr. Trump is unfit to govern. A top Myanmar official says his country is doing everything on schedule to repatriate more than 700,000 Rohingya. This follows the prime minister of neighboring Bangladesh, which is sheltering the refugees, accusing Myanmar of delaying the Muslims' return. The Trump administration is expected to release the text of its trade agreement with Mexico as early as this Friday, launching a contentious congressional approval process as it tries to coax Canada into a revamped North American Free Trade Agreement, also known as NAFTA. U.S. lawmakers, briefed by U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer Thursday, said that they expect the long-awaited document to largely exclude language related to Canada, but we're still hoping that Canada would join. They expressed little optimism that a deal with Canada could be reached quickly, noting disagreements over dairy and dispute settlement provisions. Some Democrats said they could not support a NAFTA trade deal without Canada. This is VOA News. Russia and China have called on the UN Security Council to ease international sanctions on North Korea as an incentive for it to denuclearize. VOA's Cindy Sain.
Chairing a meeting of the UN Security Council, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said he plans to go to North Korea next month to prepare a second summit between the two countries' top leaders.
I want to reiterate that the future can be very bright for North Korea if it makes good on its commitment to final, fully verified denuclearization.
Pompeo credited diplomatic breakthroughs and dramatic summits to the historic international pressure campaign of sanctions against North Korea. But both Russia and China are pressing for a different approach. Both countries said it's time to consider easing UN sanctions to encourage North Korea to denuclearize. Cindy Sain, VOA News, Washington.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu accused Iran of maintaining a secret nuclear weapons storage facility in Tehran. Netanyahu claimed Iran uses the building to store massive amounts of equipment and material from Iran's secret weapons program. He said he informed the International Atomic Energy Agency and some intelligence agencies about the facility and demanded that the IAEA immediately inspect it. Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif rejected Netanyahu's presentation as an arts and crafts show. Iran has routinely denied it has a nuclear weapons development program. Mr. Trump defended his decision to withdraw from the 2015 Six-Nation Agreement from Tehran to give up its nuclear program. In a speech Thursday, Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte appeared to admit to carrying out extrajudicial killings in his war on drugs, an accusation his critics have made against him, but something he and his government have denied. VOA's Jeff Custer.
Police deny allegations they've been exterminating drug users, saying all those killed were dealers who had resisted arrest. But in his rambling speech Thursday to government bureaucrats, Duterte raised questions about his critics and seemed to concede the killings, saying, "What are my sins? Did I steal even a single peso? Did I prosecute someone that I jailed? My only sins are the extrajudicial killings." A presidential spokesman said the president was being facetious and playful as he hit back against his critics. In late August, relatives of those killed and human rights advocates asked the International Criminal Court to prosecute Duterte for alleged crimes against humanity, the second such request for a ruling on the thousands of deaths that have occurred during the anti-drug crackdown. Jeff Custer, VOA News.
And adultery is no longer a crime in India due to a ruling by the country's highest court. Under the British colonial-era law, a man who had sex with a married woman without her husband's blessing could be charged, convicted, and sentenced up to 5 years in prison, but women did not have that same right. I'm Tommy McNeil, VOA News.